I had a completely different video planned for today. But this morning, I woke up and I seen a quick clip of this interview that I'm about to show you guys of Elon Musk on Fox. I saw a quick clip of it on Instagram, and it made me come looking for it on YouTube because there's some essential information in here that I believe you guys need and I need as well regarding Elon Musk and all the moves that the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, are making. The title of the video, this is on the Fox Business YouTube channel. The title is Elon Musk Exposes Why Democrats Don't Want Waste and Fraud to Be Turned Off. Let's get into it.
All right, we welcome to the show and a special interview with Mr. Elon Musk, who, of course, is famed Trump advisor, CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, chair of X Corp. Elon, thank you for doing this. We appreciate it.
I kind of want to skip up to where he's talking about, the Department of Government Efficiency and everything. Here we go, DOGE spending.
Last year, so during the Biden administration, which estimated the federal government fraud to be $500 billion. So just to be clear, that's not a Trump administration thing, that's a Biden administration thing. So what we're trying to do is get that number down to a much smaller figure, save money for the American taxpayer, stop money being spent on things that I think very few taxpayers would agree make sense. Transgender animal surgeries, or why are we spending money? Why are American tax dollars being spent on this?
Real quick, I did see a lot of people, saying that when Trump first brought up the whole transgender animal surgery thing, that it was completely fraud. I actually heard that people fact checked that and that was true. Y'all let me know down in the comments. I didn't look into it extensively after just what I saw on social media, but you guys let me know, is that true down in the comments below? And is this something that we should be worried about, that the Department of Government Efficiency should actually be looking into?
The president's gone through a long list of absurd things. Why are the 20 million people who are definitely dead marked as alive in the Social Security database? Why were hundreds of millions of dollars of Small Business Administration loans were given out to people aged 11 and under, according to the Social Security? I mean, like, these must be some very enterprising 8-year-olds,
And some pretty strong 150-year-olds.
Yes, exactly. As the president said, we have an enormous number of people marked as alive who are 160. He didn't know the country was that healthy.
Yes. So demystify.
Okay, he actually makes a good point here. Not directly with what he's saying, but the point here is that the government is super slow to do anything or catch up to anything. If any of you guys have ever worked for the government or worked for any government institution, or even done things as simple as going to the DMV to get you a new license, if you guys know, any normal person knows, if you go to the DMV and you're trying to get a new license, you're trying to do anything that you do at the DMV, registration, whatever, if you don't schedule an appointment months in advance, you're going to be there all day. They usually always understaffed. And even when you do go up there, I'm talking about a license because I recently went and got a replacement license. It takes forever for it to come in the mail, right? I'll give y'all another example. I work at a university, which is I work at a public university that receives government funding on a year-to-year basis, right? So this is largely a government institution, a government-funded institution. Without getting too deep into the details to the point to where I might, endanger myself and it become a conflict of interest, we had a situation where somebody had a continuous subscription, personal subscription that they were using for their personal use, rolling off of a company credit card for a period of like 2 to 3 years, because at one point they had planned on putting on an event for the student body, and they needed it was a streaming service, and they needed. They purchased the streaming service, like 1 month of it for like $10, $11, however much, just to be able to show a movie during that student event, right? But rather than, canceling it or just purchasing 1 month, they continued to let it roll off. And it took 2 to 3 years for the card to be audited, for them to catch the individual in what they were doing. So, albeit on a much, much smaller scale, it's at a university and it's just a subscription to a streaming service. That's the type of things that Elon Musk is talking about. This is why I agree with the concept of the government of the Department of Government Efficiency and what they're doing. Essentially, treating this like a business. Not what the issue though is that so many people are used to the government essentially creating positions or overinflating departments, not treating it like a business. Now we got businessmen in Trump and Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and anybody else involved with this Department of Government efficiency thing. Now we got people coming in treating it like a business, and it's an issue. The most important thing, even when we're speaking on things like the job market on the channel, as we spoke on in the past, I've told you guys there was one video that I reacted to of a young lady who was talking about she had 2 master's degrees and she had got laid off, and I said in that video. And a lot of people quoted me in the comments because they liked the nice quotable that there is no amount of education that will save you from a layoff that has to do with the bottom line when it comes to revenue in the company, right? And that's what we're seeing now. The government is adopting that kind of mindset.
How do you do it? Okay, how big is your team?
Yeah.
Where'd you recruit most of them from? And what is it that makes you choose, the Treasury or Social Security or USAID? How does it work? Let the public know, please.
Right. Well, we just basically follow the money. We look at the president's executive orders, and we also just follow the money. So we started looking closely at USAID because they were completely violating the president's executive orders to suspend foreign aid. What's called foreign aid, but in our view is a lot of corruption. So what we saw there is just a tremendous amount of money being sent to non-governmental organizations. But actually, this, by the way, is I think one of the biggest sources of fraud in the world is government-funded non-governmental organizations. This is a gigantic fraud loophole where the government can give money to an NGO, and then there are no controls over that NGO. So they've given billions of dollars, in fact, we estimate tens of billions of dollars to NGOs that are essentially scams. And
by the way,
trying to put a stop to that. So
I don't want to interrupt, but Secretary of State Rubio has just come out. I think he tweeted today. He has accepted over 80% of your recommendations to shut down in USAID.
Right.
So your review and analysis was spot on.
Yes. So I think when people criticize, say, what DOGE is doing, we say, well, which part specifically? Because we put all of the actions.
And really quick, with the money being sent to the non-government organizations, we see this on all levels. If you guys remember last year, the Fonnie Willis and Nathan Wade, I think that's the dude's name, Nathan something situation. This is why they got caught up.
Of the DOGE team on the DOGE.gov website.
Or at least one of the reasons that they got caught up.
So we post the receipts. So it's like this action has been taken, this action has been taken. So when we get criticism, we say like, of what? Which line do you disagree with? Like which cost saving do you disagree with? And then people usually can't think of any.
No.
So
it's transparent line by line.
It's transparent line by line,
which is quite remarkable.
Right. And so, and then with respect to the Treasury, for example, the 2 main recommendations we suggested, which have not been implemented, was that any payments going out of the Treasury, especially the Treasury's main payment computer, which is called PAM, things like a payments account manager or something like that. But it's like almost $5 trillion a year, so about $1 billion an hour. That the payments be coded with the congressional appropriation, and that there be an explanation for the payment. Very basic stuff. And just doing that, we estimate will save $100 billion a year.
You're not really. Let me see if I get this right. Particularly with Social Security, you're not really changing policy.
No, yes.
You're auditing the fiscal mechanisms to make sure that, from point A gets to point B, and that's where it's supposed to get to. In some cases, it doesn't get there, or in some cases, it may go over there. But that's it's not a policy exercise. You're not changing laws. You're just doing what any business would do in a profit and loss audit.
What did I say? Treating it like a business. See, where a lot of people are upset is, number one, the people are politicking. You know what I'm saying? It's Democrats, liberals that just don't want to see conservatives and Republicans winning. And number 2 is the methods. You know what I'm saying? We're all aware of that infamous email that all of the federal workers received, telling them to respond with, I believe it was 5 things that they've done in the past week. And there were actually some layoffs that resulted in it. I remember seeing a video of it was a group of young people, a group of people who had just started their term of employment with the government. There was one young lady in that interview that was saying that she hadn't even worked long enough to receive a performance evaluation. She had been working for about 6 weeks before she received her layoff, just because she was a new employee. And, we're in this era where the government is trying to save as much money as possible and reduce the national debt as much as possible. So that's why I say I agree with the concept of the Department of Government efficiency. I mean, can we go about it differently? Yeah, we can. But I mean, what are we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? The damage is already been done, and I actually applaud them for doing damage control the way that they are. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. What can we do about it? Really, nothing at this point.
I think we're really what we're adding here is caring and competence, and there's a massive amount of fraud of basically people submitting social security numbers for social security benefits, unemployment, small business administration loans, and medical, where those are fake social security numbers, or they've stolen somebody else's social security number, and we're trying to put a stop to all of that. And that's the number which is
way more common than y'all even know about.
Of federal expenditures, which is half a $500 billion.
It's a huge number.
Yeah.
You're working with the agency heads. You're working with the cabinet secretaries.
Yes.
I saw Howard Lutnick was on TV yesterday saying you were partnering with them. Is that fair?
Yeah, what we do is in consultation with the cabinet secretaries and with their departments. So we're really trying to be sort of, we'll refer to ourselves as tech support.
Mm-hmm.
We're really helping the department get a handle on things, because what actually happens here is you've got this sort of vast federal bureaucracy, and then you've got a very thin layer on top of the politically appointed officials. And what tends to happen is that the bureaucracy, frankly, is in control, and they largely ignore the politically appointed people.
Why should the bureaucracy?
I'm sure you must have seen that.
I've lived with this twice. I worked for Reagan many years ago, and I worked for Trump in the first term.
Yeah.
It's like a permanent bureaucracy. I might add, it's a permanently liberal bureaucracy.
Yes, very much so.
And it's not a bureaucracy that necessarily enforces or implements presidential policy.
They don't. In fact, they try their best to thwart presidential policy. So the president is the elected representative of the people. And if the president cannot get things implemented as a reflection of the will of the people, then what we have is not a democracy. We have a bureaucracy. We have rule of the bureau, not rule of the people. And that's what we're trying to defeat here is the bureaucracy and have rule of the people. And as you mentioned, the bureaucracy is overwhelmingly Democrat. So Washington, D.C. was 92.5%, I believe, voted for Kamala. So this is overwhelmingly a deep blue situation.
How do you pick your next?
Okay, and this was a common thing that I seen a common point that I seen a lot of conservatives making back during campaign season, which is that a lot of these liberals are so far left that they're out of touch. And everybody says everybody is out of touch, but it starts making sense when I see people having conversations like the conversation that's going on right now that I'll be making another video about, talking about everyone being outraged, Democrats being so outraged at what Gavin Newsom said on his podcast about, yes, there is an unfair advantage when you see men in women's sports, transgender women, which was a man that turned to a woman in a woman's sports. Y'all, like, everybody was so outraged at that, yet we have examples of a girl years ago. I don't remember her name. I don't remember the details of it. Somebody dropped the details in the comments, but there was a girl in a boxing match with a transgender woman who got her skull cracked. And I'm not even a far left or far right leaning person at all. I'm the kind of person who just aligns with what makes sense. But regardless, I digress. I'm not, getting super deep into a political, philosophical conversation, because that's not why we're here. We're here because of the money. We're here to see how this affects our pockets. To me, this is like that one episode off of South Park.
This is making insanely good sense to me.
That's how I feel about what Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency are doing. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel. Help us hit the first 1,000 subscribers. We're back to posting daily, so make sure y'all tune in for the next video.